This is the Axis condenser microphone from Fluid Audio. Now, Fluid is a little company that's been around since about 2010, and they're most known for their studio monitor speakers and headphones. So when they sent me the Axis mic for review recently, I was, a little skeptical. It is, as far as I can tell, their first and so far only microphone they sell. So is it going to be any good, and is it going to be useful for content creators? I think we need to try it out. Now, before we get started, I should point out that Fluid Audio did send me the Axis mic for review, and I'm not actually sure if it's on loan or if I'm keeping it, but I'm not being paid for this review. And I'm under no obligation to give it a positive one. The Axis mic from Fluid Audio comes with some cool accessories. It's got this pop filter up here, which is sort of like just a semicircle. It's held on by some elastic bands, and so it's very sort of discreet and not, one of those giant circles that, blocks your face. So from a content creator standpoint, that's pretty good. It also comes with what I think is a really nice looking, sleek shock mount. It's kind of a brushed metal look, and I don't know, there's just something about it that just feels really nice and really well made. And it also comes with, well, hang on. You get a pretty long XLR cable. It's a high quality one too. You get a little pouch that you can put it in, and you get this case as well, which, I mean, I wouldn't ship this on an airplane just in this case, but a nice hard case to keep your microphone safe. That's pretty cool. The Axis microphone is a large diaphragm condenser microphone. The diaphragm size is 25 millimeters or 1 inch. The actual capsule size is 34 millimeters, which is, pretty standard for large diaphragm mics. It does require phantom power. The sensitivity of this microphone is minus 38 dBV, which is, pretty decent. There are more sensitive condenser microphones, but I have used less sensitive condenser microphones that I use actually all the time. So that's not a big deal, and it's definitely not going to be as quiet as a dynamic microphone. So the self noise of this microphone is 16 dBA, and so self noise is the noise that the microphone makes just from the circuitry itself without anything being put into it. Now, 16 dBA it's kind of on the noisier side for the microphones that I've reviewed in the last year or so, but I mean, to be honest, if you're using it for voice or, like just regular guitar instruments and things like that, I don't think you're ever going to notice any noise. So it's only if it's like a super critical, really quiet source, then maybe you would notice some noise. I'm not hearing anything. The maximum SPL, or sound pressure level, on this microphone is 136 dB, which means that's how loud it can get before it starts distorting. And I mean, that number is respectable. You can record some decently loud sounds on it, and you're not going to have any trouble with voice unless you're screaming into the microphone. Now, would you use it for drum overheads? Probably not, because you're really going to want to have a pad to bring that level down so you don't overload your microphone. And it's got no switches at all. It doesn't have a pad. It doesn't have any EQ roll-off. So what you hear is what you get. All right, so let's subject this microphone to some torture here. I'm going to test how well the shock mount does. So I'm going to thump on the boom arm. And then I'm going to thump on the shock mount outer layer itself. And then I'm going to tap on the head basket of the microphone. Okay, so let's do a plosive test. First of all, I'm going to test it with the pop filter on. Let's get about a fist away here. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. All right, let's take that off here. Comes off really easily, which is nice. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. All right, so let's compare the Axis microphone to some other microphones I have, just so that you can hear the sound differences. Now, what we're listening to here is the King Bee II, which comes from a company called Neat Microphones. And actually, I reviewed this a little while ago, and at the time I said, hey, I don't have a lot of microphones in the price range of this to compare to, but this is actually similar price range to the Axis mic. The Axis is $230. This King Bee II goes for $175. So, I mean, that's close-ish. Like the Axis microphone, the King Bee II has a 34 millimeter capsule, 25 millimeter diaphragm, no switches, shock mount, built-in pop filter. So it does have some additional shock absorption built into the head basket, And it also has some additional foamy stuff inside the head basket for pops. But otherwise, they're similar microphones. It doesn't come with a high-quality XLR cable or any other cable, and it definitely has its own unique look. All right, now you're listening to the MXL V67G, and this is a large diaphragm condenser microphone, just like the Axis microphone. Now, this microphone only goes for $100, but it's a same size specs on the diaphragm, 25 millimeter, and the capsule is 34 millimeter. So very similar, like the Axis mic, like the King B2. It has no switches, so there's no EQ roll-offs or anything like that. This microphone does not come with anything really. It comes with a very simple mic clip. There's no shock mount. There's no pop filters. So to use this mic for vocals, for voiceovers, you would definitely want to invest in those things, and that, of course, increases the cost. Now you're listening to what I personally consider my go-to microphone for moderately priced microphones, and this is the SE Electronics SE2200. Now, it is a little bit more expensive than the Axis. It goes for just under $300, and but otherwise, the diaphragm, it's the same size. It's a 34 millimeter capsule and a 25 millimeter diaphragm. It comes with a pop filter. Now, it's one of those circular metal mesh ones that's kind of on a stick, like a big lollipop. And that actually puts it a little further away from the microphone, which is good in the sense that the air dissipates more from pops, so it's gonna really cut down more than maybe something that's really close to the microphone, like the one on the Axis. However, that big pop filter far away means that you can't get close and do a proximity effect, and on camera it looks, I don't know, it doesn't look great. The mic also comes with a shock mount, and it has switches. None of these other microphones have had any switches. This one has a 3-position pad switch, so you've got normal and -10 and -20 dB, so you can use it for drum overheads or other loud sources if you want to. It also has a 3-position low roll-off switch, so you've got nominal and you've got, I believe it's 80 hertz and 160 hertz. So if you need a little bit extra in terms of rolling off some rumble, you do have that capability. However, the microphone is, $300. The Axis's frequency response chart shows that it's pretty flat throughout most of its range. However, there is a slight bump in the low end around 15 hertz. And also, there's a really prominent rise in the high end, starting around 10 kilohertz and going up something like 8 dB. In the 5K range, though, it's still pretty flat. And this is what I was hearing. I thought, wow, this is a brighter mic than the King B2 from Neat, and yet at the same time it sounds more pleasing somehow. And that's because the King B has a distinct rise starting at around 4 kilohertz or so, which makes it a very present, very forward, in-your-face kind of mic. Now, with the King B, vocals are going to really cut through your mix more, but it has the potential to be a little too much on some voices. The Axis, though, is something I consider an airy mic. That extreme boost, but in the really, really upper range of the frequency response, just kind of opens up the sound without it sounding, too crunchy. And let's be honest, after my audio career, I can't actually hear frequencies that high, but I can hear the effect it has on lower harmonics. And overall, I really like the sound of this mic. Considering this is the first mic from a company with roots more in the headphones and monitor side of things, this is a really nice mic. And I guess if you think about it, if you're listening to headphones and monitors and doing that stuff all day long, 24/7, you're listening a lot and very carefully. And I get the sense they did that when they designed this mic too. And they've really done an admirable job with the design. It looks good, it sounds good, and it comes with some pretty high quality accessories. I think it's an excellent mic for this price point, and because both the mic and the shock mount are relatively small, I think it'll be really useful for content creators, especially when you're using it on camera. And I'm kind of hoping actually that they're gonna let me keep this, because I think you would see it on camera quite a bit in the future.